Coming up on today's show, we look into the incident that killed a man in Rochdale in the early hours of this morning.
We get the latest on a chemical fire affecting areas of Stockport.
And we have the latest on all things sport.
Hello and welcome to Quays News. Today's top story.
A 38-year-old man died this morning following a collision on Birchfields Road in Rusholme.
Investigations are still underway to find out how it occurred. Thea Chicumba has more.
In the early hours of this morning, around 4:45, the police were called here to Birchwood Road in Rusholme after a call was made saying that there had been a collision involving a man. Now, the driver of the car was then taken to hospital shortly after he was pronounced dead. Part of Birchwood Road was closed earlier this morning, but as you can see, it has been reopened for the public to use. Now, Sergeant Paul Higgins from Greater Manchester Police's Serious Collisions Investigation Unit has said this is a tragic incident and he would like to offer his condolences to the man's family, who they're working hard to provide support from specially trained officers. The Age Combar, Quays News.
A man in Salford has been found guilty after selling counterfeit goods from a warehouse in Salford. Molly Marsden has more.
With Christmas just around the corner and shopping being most people's priority, parents may not be aware of how dangerous counterfeit toys can be to children.
Apologies for the technical difficulties. Now, residents in the Hazel Grove and Stepping Hill area are being advised to keep their windows and doors shut as a precaution over a possible risk of toxic smoke. Zainab Patel has the latest.
Residents here of Hazel Grove have been advised to close their window due to fear of toxic waste after a blaze at Newby Industrial Estate. Firefighters have been working here overnight and the crew had to go through a decontamination process since asbestos was found on the roof. The investigation is still ongoing for the cause.
The post office will be affected by a nationwide strike next week. This is the latest attempt from the Communication Workers Union to combat job losses, the closure of a final salary pension scheme and the franchising of Crown Post offices with counter staff and cash handlers set to take part. Jordan Davis has more.
With 4,000 workers from branches like this one set to strike between the 19th of December and Christmas Eve, 300 stores are expected to close or offer a mere skeleton service over the Christmas period, leaving many presents perhaps unable to be delivered.
Now, a well-known campaigner against fracking across Lancashire has spared prison and heavy legal costs on Friday.
Now she is using her trial to continue her fight for the cause. Jack Donnelly reports.
So I don't think I ever speak as if I'm me. I'm a message delivery system.
Right.
I have a clear accent. I'm able to talk big and I'm able to talk fast. And sometimes with media or with a group, you need to just get everything out very quickly but make sure it's understood. And then you realise that there were 8,000 people in front of you down the mall. And you were looking, and Jeremy Corbyn was on next, and you know, and there was a big crowd.
Yeah.
But when you did that, you realised, you just looked down and you just saw everyone you'd ever seen at community meetings. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same bit that brought them out. They wanted to protect something that was important to them.
After many civilians in Aleppo took to Twitter to say their goodbyes to the world, hundreds gathered for an emergency protest last night to stand in solidarity to raise awareness of the blood being shed in Syria. Samha Gauha reports.
Free, free Syria! Free Syria! Free Aleppo!
I'm in Piccadilly where hundreds have just gathered to stand in solidarity with Syrians in Aleppo. As the forces of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad advance in the last rebel-held section of Aleppo, Hundreds of protesters gathered to break the silence of the bloodshed in Syria, after many civilians in Aleppo took to Twitter to say their goodbyes to the world.
Free, free Syria! Free, free Syria! Free, free Aleppo!
We just organised this over the night, actually. There was 12 p.m, I'll say, 12 a.m, sorry. And so that's why it was an emergency protest, because we cared about these civilians. We didn't want more massacres to happen.
Many protesters stood in solidarity despite their difference in age, gender, race or religion to demand freedom for Syria.
It's important, no matter what colour, race or religion we're from, that we stand up and we unite to say what's wrong.
Just came to show solidarity for the people in Aleppo. There's not much that I feel I can do, but I can sort of make other people aware.
Quays News.
JD Sports claim they are ready and willing to investigate claims regarding working conditions in their warehouse in Rochdale. Following an undercover TV investigation commissioned by Channel 4 News, the documentary will allege that staff face random searches and security checks and are threatened with the sack if they sit down.
The leisure retailer strongly denies all allegations. The documentary is due to be aired on Channel 4 News this evening.
Last year, Salford was the worst council in Greater Manchester for NEETs, people not in education, employment or training.
An investigation conducted by Quays News has found that this year the situation has worsened as more people drop out of colleges and struggle to find jobs. Martina Mascarello has the report.
Jamie moved to Salford to get a degree, but when he realised that university just wasn't for him, he dropped out. Since then, he's not been able to take control of his life and is now struggling to find his place in the real world.
I basically did very little for a long time because I felt as though I had my life was in my hands now for the first time, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I just did nothing. I basically just did nothing with it. My main challenge has essentially just been starting. I have really no idea where to start. I mean, it's a general idea that getting a job is you see a help wanted sign in a shop window and you go in and apply. But speaking as someone who has never had a job, I've never had to apply for one either. So I have no work experience. So a lot of employers will think that I have nothing to bring. So.
They're called needs, as to not in education, employment or training. Last year, Salford was already the worst borough in Greater Manchester, with 505 NEET people. Well, this year the situation is even worse, with 561 people that fall into this category.
Since 2010, we've basically lost £64,000 every single day from our budget. That's 47% of our money taken off us by the government. So all the services that we used to be able to support have had to be cut, and some services have stopped altogether, and that's had a big impact. We also don't have any government directly provided services for NEET since the youth contract ended in 2015. That wasn't a perfect programme, but it did do something. We were able to work with, I think, around 400 people through that, and that stopped. So that's another service that's been cut.
Despite some support services are currently in place, people like Jamie don't know how to access them and get the help that they need. Martina Mascariello, Quays News.
Now here's a recap of today's headlines. A 38-year-old man died this morning following a collision on Birchfield Road in Rusholme. Investigations are still underway to find out how it occurred.
A man has been prosecuted after admitting guilt to 24 charges of stealing counterfeit toys.
And the Trafford Centre, which is the biggest shopping centre in Manchester, is opening their doors to a Channel 5 film crew showing how they prepare for the festive period. The programme airs tonight at 9 on Channel 5.
On to today's sport. The Denny Solomona saga rumbles on today, following the player being announced as the latest signing to Sale Sharks squad yesterday. Castleford Tigers have begun legal action against Sale Sharks for signing the player across codes whilst he was still contracted to the rugby league side. Fans have been divided on social media when discussing the issue.
Manchester United head to Selhurst Park tonight to face Alan Pardew's Crystal Palace. Their midfielder, Mario Wanfalini, has faced boos in the previous 2 games. He has featured after costing the side a victory against Everton.
We asked football fans at Media City whether it was ever right for fans to boo their own players.
I think it's the wrong thing to do. I mean, you know, as a City fan, it's funny to watch from an outsider looking in, but if that happened at City, you know, I'd never do that to my own team.
Responsible player at times is, you know, it shouldn't boo him anyway. I know that it's a silly thing, booing. It's a new thing, booing, really. The last 20 years or so. You never got booing years ago when I was a kid.
Well, I think it depends on how badly they perform. I think if they perform very badly, and that people pay good money to see them, then I think the supporters are within their rights to make their feelings known.
Now for a surprise take on today's weather, here is the lovely and very brave Rachel Williams.
So after a sunny start to the day with blue and clear skies, the moderate temperatures are meant to last until this evening. But looking forward to tomorrow, if you are wanting to do any outdoor activities such as a ride in a boat, you might want to do it in the morning as it's going to rain at 2 p.m. with temperatures dropping to about 8 degrees. Massive shout out to the University of Salford Boat Club for lending us this boat, and now I'm off for a ride.
Oh, that's amazing. As if you didn't fall in.
Oh, all I can say is rather you than me, Rachel.
Now, 8 students from Buell Hill Visual Arts College saw their artwork displayed on the front of Salford Civic Centre. They received certificates for their work from the Mayor of Salford. The school are planning future collaborations with the council.
I saw the number of submissions and the quality of the submissions. And I have to say, it was not easy at all for me to actually make a decision. We pored over the submissions for quite a while, didn't we, Jane, really? But I think what we've arrived at and how it looks on the actual town hall looks absolutely fantastic.
Bundo Bus Bar has opened for the first time in Piccadilly Gardens this lunchtime. The restaurant and bar originates from Leeds and serves unique Indian street food, which is all vegetarian and comes in small dishes, perfect for lunch. The bar also stocks independent beers, which owners Mark Husak and Maya Patel feel is something unique and different in Manchester.
Now, the Into Trafford Centre, which is the biggest shopping centre in Manchester, is opening their doors to a Channel 5 film crew, showing how they prepare for the festive period. Jess Hodge has more.
The Into Trafford Centre is the star of a new Channel 5 documentary. The programme will unwrap the secrets of how the shopping centre gets ready for Christmas. This is one of the many examples of the hard work that goes into Christmas preparation.
The show is all about how Into Trafford Centre prepares for Christmas, in particular how we get the decorations up, what's involved in getting all the big events executed really. I think it's just going to show behind the scenes, and that's probably not seen, or you know, as you come shopping here, as I come shopping here, I wouldn't be thinking, oh, how's that decoration got up there, or when did that arrive? But I think that, you know, that's what it's going to show, that side of it, the 4 a.m. rigs, and from my point of view, I think it's definitely going to show, you know, the hustle and bustle before an event and the excitement. I mean, it's my favourite part of my job, like doing the Christmas light switch on. That's the best event that we do, and it's definitely going to be a nitty-gritty behind the scenes of what actually happens to get Fleur East on that stage. So hopefully it should be really good.
The first episode is packed with festive fun, which will include the famous light switch on with Fleur East and many other exciting events to spruce up their shopping experience.
Around 31 million people visit Into Trafford Centre each and every year, and around 6 million of those are during the Christmas period. So you might see a lot of those on Christmas Eve panic buying, which reminds me, I've got some of that to do myself.
The Trafford Centre's elves have been working since spring, and the first episode airs tonight at 9 o'clock on Channel 5. Jess Hodge, Quays News.
That was lovely, wasn't it? So have you done your Christmas shopping?
I've started. I'm really unprepared this year, which isn't like me, but I've ordered a few things yesterday. I just need to go out to some more shops and then I should be okay. How about you?
Yeah, same really. I've done a couple of bits, but other than that, I've pretty much done most of it.
It's been so busy.
Yeah, that's it. Goodbye.